Good morning, everybody. I shouldn't admit this, but I just found this book last night on my shelf. It's called Nature Speak. Oh, this is kind of a rocky thing. Nature Speak, Signs, Omens, and Messages in Nature. It's an absolutely wonderful book. I've read parts of it before, but it was interesting to find it. So the voice of the butterfly. Butterflies are my favorite little animal. And so I was just thinking, what's the next thing I talk about? And I love animals, and this is the time when I need to remember nature. When I go like, I don't like what's happening in nature, so I want to take this opportunity to open myself to all its possibilities. So I find nature very healing. When I had cancer and when I was going through treatment, I took a walk every day out behind our house. We have 4 acres, but my neighbor has lots more woods. And the summer before, the loggers had come in and cut down trees and left the stump, but also left the top half of the tree. And it was I needed to apologize. And so I spent many months walking in the woods and apologizing to the trees. And it was extremely healing for me. Nature is healing for us. And that's my main message, I think. But one thing that inspired this talk was a gift from Esther Riley of some greeting cards that went like this. Advice from a sea turtle. Swim with the current. Be a good navigator. Stay calm under pressure. Be well-traveled. Think long-term. Age gracefully. Spend time at the beach. And here is advice from a glacier. Carve your own path. Go slow. Channel your strengths. Smooth the way for others. Keep moving forward. Avoid meltdowns. Be cool. Be cool. So here's advice from a butterfly. Let your true colors show. Get out of your cocoon. Take yourself lightly. Look for the sweetness in life. Take time to smell the flowers. Catch a breeze. We can't all be monarchs. And I think there's a lot more to learn from the life of a butterfly. A life of a butterfly is a symbol of transformation and change, the lesson of endurance and courage. And it represents the evolution of our own consciousness into our highest expression. So the first lesson of the butterfly and of all animals is life and death, that they are 2 sides of the same coin. Last week, I found a magnet on my fridge. It had obviously been there for years and long forgotten. And so it goes like this. Just when the caterpillar thought the world was over, it became a butterfly. This is anonymous, and our lives are like that also. we can see that it is possible to lift ourselves out of what seems to be the end of the world. And to do that, we have to remember who we are and believe in possibilities that we do not yet know. And butterflies seem to have not forgotten this and seem to continue to remind us of this. But we as human beings, we've forgotten many things, so we need to be reminded. So I'm here to remind us, including myself. Happiness, this is Henry David Thoreau. Happiness is like a butterfly. The more you chase it, the more it will elude you. But if you turn your attention to other things, it will come and sit softly on your shoulder. There was a butterfly in our shed a couple years ago, and I thought it was a swallowtail butterfly, but it didn't have the tails, and so it was perfectly all right with me picking it up and taking it outdoors, and it finally flew away into a box elder tree, which contained the nest of a yellow-shafted flicker, which are common around here, but not there aren't a lot of them, but they are large. They are large birds, and they eat butterflies. So it would seem true that that butterfly ended up, as most butterflies do, as meals for other animal friends. So butterflies are about change, transformation. In 2021, Dallas and I went to the Detroit Zoo, and there was a small building which was the butterfly exhibit, and it was full of butterflies from all over the world. It was just extraordinary. And what they do is they bring the butterflies as chrysalises from South America and places where, probably mostly South America. The building is full of trees and flowers and plants, and but on one corner by the door, there's a little box. It's only about that big, and it has these chrysalises in it. And at first we couldn't figure out what that was doing there, because the chrysalises were all dark. They looked like a piece of dirt. I mean, but we found out, Delith found out and told me that these were the butterflies. These were what would come out of the chrysalis into flying around in the trees. It's a magnificent exhibit, and if you get a chance, go. So the lesson there is things are not always as they seem. And that each one of us has a hidden treasure within the bodies that we see, and we imagine that that's what we are. And of course, the body is not who we are. It is the spirit that we are that has the bodies that take us through the world. But we can't deny the body. It's an important teacher for all of us. So my lesson here is believe in yourself. Believe in yourself. Our bodies are not everything. And what we do in our lives is not everything either. So the butterfly teaches us that struggle is necessary, and I love that story. Absolutely. The struggle is absolutely necessary. The butterfly's wings will not fill with fluid unless it struggles against the sides of the chrysalis. And in its process of being born into being a butterfly. So when the caterpillar became a butterfly, don't you think this one was pushed out of its comfort zone? We can do the same. Let ourselves be pushed out of our comfort zone and still be safely held in the arms of our spiritual self. So we might have to spend some time managing stresses in our lives, and we might have to let go of some of the things we are doing and being, partly because we identify too closely. And we think that's who we are. What we are doing in life, we think of as who we are, what we are, but we're not those things. Those things we use, our bodies, we use to identify ourselves and gain understanding and learn our lessons, but they are not who we are. And I love the way Rumi puts it. Out beyond our ideas of right doing and wrong doing, there lies a field. I'll meet you there. When the soul lies down in that grass, the world is too full to talk about. And that is the world of ours that is beyond our words of understanding, but not beyond our deepest knowing. Before this life of birth and death, we lived there, and we remember it and long to be free to go back. Butterflies are a symbol of this freedom. To get there, we release all of our attachments. We are, in fact, letting go of many things every day, and we don't realize how many things we're letting go of every day. And that's the source, that understanding is the source of our freedom. We fear loss. And it seems that every small death every day is a loss, but we won't release ourselves into our potential if we don't somehow gracefully, willingly let go. Because the possibilities are endless for us. The possibilities are endless. I had a spiritual teacher in Santa Fe, her name was Carol Bell Knight, who taught us that it is important to be willing to be disturbed. She taught us to say, I'm willing to be disturbed. And the truth is, we are disturbed every day. What was I doing? I was looking for something in a drawer in a desk, and this morning, and the whole drawer came out and fell all over the floor. And I thought, oh yes, I'm willing to be disturbed. You know, I was trying to get stuff together to my talk. Things will change. Things will change. There's nothing to do. We don't have to say 100 times a day, I'm willing to be disturbed, because it will happen anyway. Things will change. Our thoughts change, our feelings change, our circumstances change. With or without our willingness, things will change. And of course, that's the lesson of the butterfly, every butterfly. So much of what we do to change the world is, again, not about doing anything. It's about being yourself, being in the world, as difficult as it might be, with an open heart. And if you communicate to other people with an open heart, then sometimes that's just the best you can do. That's the best you can do. It's about being yourself, being in the world. Sometimes we make it hard for ourselves because we're judging. Much of our energy is spent in judging. So it's easier to open to the world with an open heart when we have no judgments about what should be true. But Every day we carry these ideas with us. This should be true. This should be true. So if this should be true, and something happens, then I'm going to be disturbed. I'm going to be disturbed. But if we have no judgment, if I had no judgment about whether the drawer should be in the desk or all over the floor, I would never have been disturbed. So butterflies are also symbols of hope. There are 17,500 species of butterflies all over the world. Let's do what we can to keep them healthy for the sake of our own health and the sake of our world and our children. About 5 years ago, Larry and I and Alex went to Colorado for a grandson's graduation from high school, and I found in the guidebook, I found a little museum, a butterfly museum. It was south of Colorado Springs, way back in the hills, and it was a dirt road back in the hills, and there was this, you got there and there was this big building, one-story building, very plain looking, and it was full of boxes of butterflies, just full, just tables everywhere with these boxes of butterflies and other insects that this one man had made it his life work to bring these specimens back as a museum piece. And I don't know if it survived the wildfires in Colorado, but I sure hope it did. It's just extraordinary to be in a place where there are just thousands of different kinds of butterflies in one room, and to look at them all at once. I took a lot of pictures. That was a beautiful trip. That was a beautiful trip. So there are certain things we can do in our own ways to here's 7 rules to more magical encounters. But I just picked out a few ones that I like. Take trips regularly into nature, at least once per season, because each season brings its own particular offering and has its own lessons for us as we understand. Find one special place for you to sit and observe regularly, a place that you can visit throughout the year, because everything changes. Everything changes as the year goes by. It changes and changes, and to watch the changes will help you pick up the lessons that nature has to teach us. Observe and be curious about everything. Notice what's going on around you. Make notes. Make notes. I have a notebook. I have a notebook. It's a calendar, and it's just 1 year calendar. But every few years I make notes in it. And what I notice the most is April something 65 degrees, or the next year April something 41 degrees. I mean, you know, I keep a record of the changes. It's kind of fun. So whatever animals you love, whatever they inspire you, whichever ones inspire you, keep them close, if only in pictures. They inspire our love, our creative energy, and our healing. When I'm out for walks in the summertime, I take pictures of insects and butterflies. Allow your thoughts to be lifted with the butterflies as they fly around. And the voice of the butterfly says, "Take care of us, and we will take care of you." Nature is for healing.